What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J. This is episode 5 of Task on HBO. I apologize for episode 4 not dropping on here. I had some technical difficulties, but we are back. And it looks like Tom and Robbie are finally going to have that face-to-face that we've been waiting to see. And I don't think Tom's going to back down because I know for sure Robbie ain't going to back down. And what's actually going to happen with Sam? Are we going to turn Sam in finally? But before we jump into this and break down episode 5, if you like cops and robbers, if you like a task force that can connect the dots from A to Z, then Task might be the show for you on HBO every Sunday night. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button and help me reach 60,000 subscribers. But let's go ahead and jump into it. This is episode 5 of Task. The walls are closing in on Robbie. Starting the episode off, we see Robbie and Billy in the flashback. Now, they're out by the lake, and they used to jump in here from January, February, March. It didn't matter. As long as the river wasn't frozen, they jumping into it. Now, what Robbie is explaining to us is you don't want to jump straight into cold water because you might go in shock, and then your heart either stops or boom, boom, explodes. So what he's talking about is putting water on your shoulders so your body can be acclimatized before you jump into the water. Now, him and Billy were very, very close, and this here is a little bit of foreshadow. Everything's falling apart. We know that Cliff got hit up off the side of the road when he was going to a setup that him and Ray put together. Turned out Ray wasn't there. We know Ray got locked up. So Robbie goes over to Ray's house and his girlfriend is there, and we know that she was the one that actually was the first to crack and told on what was going on about Cliff and some guy she doesn't know, talking about Robbie. Well, since the feds have him, we found out that Jayson had the phone, because if Ray was locked up, he sent the text message, but no one showed up to the park. So now Robbie, he's all kinds of confused, and that just makes him think that, well, Cliff, R.I.P. Tom and the task force are definitely putting things together, but remember, they told Tom to be careful. He doesn't know if any of these leaks are coming from inside of the task force or not. So when he pulls up, Aleah, she's giving him the rundown. The guy that was into it with Robbie and actually seen Sam, he's here. He has a witness statement. Now they're going to get the artist, the sketch artist, to do that for him. And then they also have his license, and they're just connecting the dots of who could have potentially been here. Tom goes in there and asks him, can you describe this guy? Was the kid nervous? And also they found out that there were extra fingerprints on the bucket that Sam had. Remember, he was releasing the fish. This week, we're seeing everyone's stories start to overlap and crisscross. This spider web is getting bigger. Perry and Jayson are at the crib. We see Perry get a tracking device out of the car and put it up under a red car. Now, this red car belongs to Aaron. Remember, Aaron was the one that's helping Robbie and Cliff and told them not to sell the drugs because she used to deal with Billy, Robbie's brother, but now she's dealing with Jayson. So Jayson and Perry, they're trying to figure out if Sam's still alive, but more importantly, getting the dope. When Jayson comes in the house, he has a wife beater on full of blood, and that's because of what happened last night with Cliff when they ran Cliff off the road. R.I.P. to Cliff. So Aaron is suspicious. Perry is suspicious. Everyone is looking over their shoulder wondering what the next person is doing. Perry ends up going over to Maeve's house. Now, Maeve has Sam, and Sam's talking about, can I go home? He's tired of this. He's already been asking to go home. But Perry shows up. So now she has to hide young Sam outside in the back because he wanted to play with the chickens anyway. Perry comes over, and remember, he's been going through the photo log and looking at the old meetings that they had to figure out whose gun that was that did the shooting. So he found out that it belonged to Maeve's uncle, Billy. Goes over here, is like, yeah, we're having a memorial. We need some stuff. Maeve runs out back and she hides Sam in the chicken coop. He gets what he needs, but then when he goes in the kitchen, he finds out that Cliff, who they took out last night, is close friends with Robbie. So this is getting very, very close. Everyone is walking a thin line to getting captured or arrested. Maeve is trying to get from up under this. So what she does is she knows Perry came to the house. She calls up her co-worker. Remember the co-worker that was looking at her funny when they had the lineup when she had Sam in the back seat? And she's like, listen, I need you to take Sam and turn him in for me. because Maeve don't want to be the one to do it, because they definitely going to arrest your ass. So she's like, oh my God, that's really him. She like, please, can you do this for me? Maeve needs as much help as possible. She doesn't want to go down because of her Uncle Rob messing things up. Back at the precinct, the sketch artist that came in, it might take 25, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on how detailed you want this photo to be. Now, while this is going on, Aleah starts to present more information to Tom. They talk about Billy's body not being found. They're talking about Billy's body being unalive. Billy Prendergrast. Does that name ring a bell? Well, they found out that that bucket did have another fingerprint on it, and that fingerprint belongs to a woman. Now, they're running more analysis on it, but we know who that woman is going to be. It isn't Robbie. It isn't Cliff. It has to be Maeve. So now they got a little bit of information, and they're going to do some more digging. Robbie goes and meets up with Aaron. You remember the red car with the tracking device? It was her car. Now they meeting up, and they're on top of this cliff, and they're talking. He's like, man, they got Cliff, man. What the hell happened? She's like, you can't sell them drugs, Robbie. He's like, what do you mean I can't sell those drugs? Man, everything is going to shit right now. She's like, look, you just got to stay calm. He's like, I can't stay calm. Everything is messed up. And then she mentions that Jayson had the blood on the wife beater. So now if you put two and two together, you realize that Cliff didn't get the text message from anyone but Jayson, because Ray is in jail. Cliff is dead. Jayson had blood on him. Robbie's like, what the F? And right now he's upset. So he ain't even thinking about anything else. He's trying to sell that dope and get on the road. Perry has been on that tracking device, and he finds out where Aaron is. And guess who he sees drive off? Robbie. So now he goes up and talks to Aaron like, hey, Aaron, I gave you an opportunity to get about the game. You didn't take it. I trusted you. Aaron's like, well, and she hits him. She slides down the side of the hill. She jumps into that water. She's trying to swim. Now, when you're fully clothed, you can't swim. Well, guess what? Perry, a country boy also. Perry jumps in that water after her. He's swimming after. There's some kids up on the hill, but they smoking and drinking and listening to music. They ain't paying no attention. She hits him with a rock. Boom! Gash all over side of Perry's face. They start going at it. It's a little tussle in the water. He ends up drowning her. And then he's like, Aaron, no! Because he took it too far. That emotion was running high. And he, R.I.P. Aaron. We haven't seen much of Freddie, but Freddie's nephew comes in like, hey, Freddie, that white boy that they were talking about? Yeah, the Dark Knights. He's here. He's got the dope too. You want to rob him and take the money, or you want to kill him? He said, no, bring him in, because Freddie has the leverage. If he can get the dope off of Robbie, he can go ahead and run it up. He already said he wanted 100%. Originally it was 50%, but now that this fell into his lap, he wants the whole kit and caboodle. So Robbie sits down with him, and him and Freddie, they come up with a plan on how they're gonna get this dope and this money to exchange hands. Tom has the address, headed over to the Prendergrast house to go talk to Maeve, whose fingerprints were on the bucket. Tom ends up calling Anthony and letting Anthony know, hey, I got an address. I'm going over there at the Prendergrast house. Anthony's like, hold on, wait a minute. Turns out Anthony goes up under a bridge because he's having a private meeting with Jayson. So now we got Caitlin, the FBI boss, talking to Perry directly. And now we got Anthony talking directly to Jayson. Now he's letting them know, hey, some things aren't going the way we thought they were. Jayson like, yeah, okay, well, it is what it is, but remember who you talking to. So Jayson has some power. Anthony's crooked, but he's working for both sides. And he's like, listen, do not go after Robbie until I give you a call, because right now all the cards are starting to fall and everyone can get mixed up if you aren't careful. Lizzie and Aleah are talking. We found out that Aleah can't even really smell anymore. She got abused by her ex. He's down in, I think she said Charlotte or something like that. He's an HVAC. So she can't smell it anymore. It went away. But she does call his PO officer and lies and says she's following up on cases to make sure that he's at work and not getting in any trouble, so he won't do that to any other woman. Now, Lizzie has been messing with Anthony, but this changes the whole dynamic because we know that Anthony is undercover working with the ops, the bad guys, the Dark Knights, directly for Jayson. Tom heads over to the house because he wants to speak with Maeve. Only problem is Maeve isn't here because she went to go turn Sam in. But Robbie is here. Now, while Robbie's here, no one is at the house. Tom pulls up and he's like, hey, special agent here. Robbie's getting ready to grab the gun. So how does Tom get to go in the house to look around unofficially? He says, I need to use the bathroom. So he goes in there and uses the bathroom and he's texting Anthony. Hey, Anthony, what's your ETA? He's talking about roughly 5 minutes. But Anthony just left Jayson. So this could get real ugly real quick. He comes out the bathroom and he's trying to play it off and stall until Anthony gets there. So Tom is like, do you have a number? I don't have my glasses. So what's Maeve's name? And then he starts talking about Billy. He's like, that's my brother. He's dead. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, because that's what his guise is, that he's here looking for information about Billy. Robbie leaves the living room for a quick second to find some evidence, a hairbrush or something with hair to give to Special Agent Tom. Tom gets on the phone and gets to texting. Well, Robbie felt something was off anyway and put the gun to the back of Tom's head and said, nah, we not doing this. Took all the weapons off him, took his badge, took his wallet, told him to go outside, drive this car, go the way I want you to go. So now Robbie is on his second kidnapping. This time it's a special agent by the name of Tom Brandis. Tom is driving and we start to get a backstory about him and a backstory about Robbie. He's like, what's in that duffel bag? He's like, basketballs. He says, that got anything to do with what we're here for? He's like, don't worry about that. But then they start talking about his brother Billy, and he says that Jayson was the one that did it. They also talk about Cliff, and they said that Jayson was the one that did it. So not only is Tom hearing exactly what's been going on, he's starting to piece things together, because they said that it may have been somebody inside of the task force that was giving away this information. Well, Tom is thinking about it, and it's a lot that you can think about when you got the gun to the back of your head. What is the procedure when you got one in your face? Well, Tom, just keep driving. Maeve went to the precinct, waived all of her rights, and she's in here talking to the agent in charge. Yeah, Caitlin. She's in here. All right, I need a verbal yes or no. Maeve says yes. She said, no, I need yes or no, because she's talking to them without a lawyer. So the FBI wants to make sure they got this correct, because if not, then everything will be dismissed. Now, we're not too sure what Maeve is actually going to tell them at this point. We know she didn't have anything to do with it, but I don't think she's going to sell her Uncle Robbie up the road. Word has got out that Tom is missing. Anthony was at the house and all he seen was his cell phone and his badge and his gun. Well, they've been on the road. Robbie told him to make a detour and get off the road because he doesn't want to stay on familiar roads and be potentially tracked. Now, when they get in the woods, Tom is very, very scared. He's thinking that you didn't put a gun to the back of his head. You didn't already did a kidnapping. You got bricks. It's over with. So Tom is like, let me speak to my family. He said, nah, I can't do that. They'll be able to track me. But it turns out Robbie ends up letting them go and is like, listen, I'm kind of like that bird you were talking about. Remember in episode 1, we seen a bird? Robbie is the bird that went too far off his path and he can't make it back home because he don't know his way back home. Tom is trying to tell him, no, you can make it back. Robbie says, nah, I can't. Walk through that wood and make sure you take care of my niece. She didn't have anything to do with this. Tom makes it out the woods. He ends up getting picked up by the task force, and now they're pinging on the radio stations because Robbie has satellite radio, so they can definitely track the vehicle with the license plate number. Now Robbie, he's already there. He didn't went out into the woods. He's already putting water on his body because it looks like he's about to jump in the river and float off somewhere. But while he's in the water, Tom is looking for him. The task force is looking for him. The Dark Knights, yeah, Perry and Jayson, they showed up too. Tom catches up to Robbie and pulls his gun like, put the gun down. Put the gun down, Robbie. And in the woods, Jayson hears it. But he doesn't know that the feds are over here. And Anthony told Jayson not to make a move because he kidnapped an FBI agent. So right now, we're at a standstill. And it's a standoff between Robbie and the good old FBI. All right, there we go. Episode 5 of Task. Let me know what you think about this. I'm interested in seeing where the Freddy character comes in a little bit more. But how is this Tom and Robbie standoff going to end? I'm thinking Robbie's going to probably jump in the water. Anthony's going to have to tell the Dark Knights to stand down, stand back. And that's going to just start exposing everybody, because Caitlyn is working with Perry, Jayson, and Anthony, and Tom is the only good one. Him and Aleah. We don't know what's up with Lizzie just yet, but him and Aleah are the only ones we can probably say are good to go. But on my channel, everyone is a suspect. Let me know what you think. I'm J. Make sure you tune in next week for episode 6. The show is getting better and better, and the storyline is A1. I'm J. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.